and welcome to another episode of Travel Talk with Indira. We have the lovely Kate Walten with us, and Kate is here to explain to us all the things AI and how we can incorporate it in our travel world. Kate, welcome to our show.
Thank you so much, Indira. I'm so happy to be talking with you today.
Kate, tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
A little bit about myself. Right now, I'm talking to you from Maine, which is way up north in the United States. But most of my life, I have lived in Caribbean Mexico, near, if anybody's familiar with like the Mayan ruins of Tulum, just a bit
Yes.
north of the Belize border. And I lived there for 23 years. I
Wow.
moved I moved there originally to explore underwater caves or the cenotes,
Mm-hmm.
and I moved there to explore caves, but for my day job, I worked at the very first all-inclusive resort that was built there in the Riviera Maya and ran the dive concession there. And that was before the Riviera Maya was a destination. But I there was this new thing called the internet, and someone said you should build a website to get divers to come to the Riviera Maya and put some properties on a website. And I learned about the internet, and I built one of the first online reservation services for Mexico in 1996. And then I also built a website for Cozumel, and I started one for Belize. And Belize didn't have the infrastructure at the time. I mean, Mexico was struggling, and I think maybe
This is when the internet first got.
when the first started, right?
Yeah.
So you can probably relate to this. I did not have a telephone line, so I had to go to a public telephone or a caseta to go and
Yes.
use. So I drove a half hour to go to the telephone every day and connect on a 336 running Windows 3.1. Learned
Hmm.
learned to write HTML by myself and JavaScript, and I used to hand code web pages. There was no drag and drop, no WordPress, none of those things. So brought the first server into Mexico and built a travel and reservation service online called Loco Gringo,
Mm-hmm.
in bad Spanish intentionally because a lot of Americans would come to Mexico. So that brand is still live. I sold it in 2019, and so we did reservations for vacation rentals from palapas with no electricity all the way up to five-star resorts, all-inclusive properties, boutique hotels, and very passionate for small and medium-sized businesses because I believe that the small and medium-sized businesses are really the gems of any destination. They really bring the character and the culture of any area.
I
Um,
agree.
they really nobody ever says, and this is no offense to the Marriott because I do have I have a member of the Marriott, but I'll just pick them as an example. No one ever says I can't wait to go to blank 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 to go stay at the Holiday Inn or
Correct.
any one of the big chains, right? They want to go for the culture, the people, the food, the environment, whatever. Um,
No, I
so
agree. And all these mom and pops run boutique
exactly,
hotels, that is where you experience the culture and the tradition and where people love and they feel home.
absolutely,
They feel
absolutely.
like they're home. And the big name resorts do not offer that.
And so that's what my goal was with the business that I started in Mexico and continue to do. We promoted businesses. We had services that we promoted for free for forever. Forever free. Didn't matter if they were just a mom and pop, or if they were a restaurant or a gift shop or anything. We wanted to promote those smaller businesses and the culture. And so that was where I spent the bulk of my life promoting those businesses. So once I sold the company in 2019, came back to the United States. I went back to school in travel and tourism and got a master's degree. I'm an adjunct professor, and because I have a thing for technology, I got into AI or artificial intelligence and started thinking about how artificial intelligence could be used a lot for small and medium-sized businesses, and it is within reach for everybody. You don't have to be a big company to to access it and to put it to use for you. And that's really where it's led me to where I am today, is to show people how they can put it to use and really use it no matter where they are in their business, and put it to work for them to help, whether it's marketing or guest services or operations, how they can help put it to use for them to improve their business and to help save them on some time and effort, so they can do what they really love to do best, which is showing a guest a better experience. And you know what, and maybe they even get a day off, because you know, in the hospitality and travel business, a lot of us work 7 days a week.
We do.
Yeah. So that's
For
kind of
20 hours.
exactly right. So if we get a day off, we're really, really excited.
Correct. Because from my experience, there's internet on the plane. I'm working from my car. I'm all, you know.
Yep, exactly. So that's
But
kind of why I got into
your
all of this.
story is inspiring, I must say.
Thank
Very
you.
inspiring. And I like how AI sparked your interest and you're developing it and helping persons. I love that about you.
Oh, thank you.
Tell me, how do you see AI transforming the travel industry and hospitality?
Wow. I think that AI is, I think it's going to change. I think this is, if we even step back, even on a broader scheme, is that AI is going to be one of those game changers. Like social media was a game changer, right?
It
If you
was correct.
remember, people said, I don't want to be on Facebook. And then they're playing catch up because
Everyone and their
social
grandma
media,
is on Facebook.
yeah. And AI is going to be like that. Like, oh, I don't need AI. Well, you better learn about it now, because it's going to be you'll be playing catch up later. And I think with hospitality and tourism, AI is going to be able to make a significant difference for us in things like operations, guest experiences. And, I think anybody who's in hospitality and tourism, we all know that nowadays guests or travelers, they want an experience. They don't
They
just
do.
want a place to lay their head down, or just to go somewhere. They want to have an all-encompassing experience. And so how do you create that experience? Well, AI makes it a little easier to create that experience, because we can now personalize that experience. And with AI, we can make marketing a little bit easier, because we can tailor that marketing and help marketing become part of that experience. And AI can help with operations, to whether that's making that experience by using it in, say, the room, the climate control in the room, to make that room, the heating and air conditioning more efficient, or the cleaning and operations to make that more efficient for that arrival, but that's going to make that guest experience better. And it's also going to help with revenue management. So all the way around, AI can play a part, not only through that guest experience, but through the operational experience in the bigger chains that we all know. When we hear about revenue management, we might be thinking of like the big chains like Holiday Inn and Marriott's and things, but also for the smaller properties, as well as how can we save some money along the way to run more efficiently, and to maybe make use of some openings in our availability and our slower times, to how to market to fill up our availability and our calendars a little bit more.
So I understand what you're saying, but can you, for elaboration, can you
Mhm.
give us some example of how the AI has improved the operational system for hotels and other travel businesses?
Sure. Um, so if we look at like in an operational efficiency, if you look at automated processes, AI can take things like check-in and check-outs and automate them so that frees up staff to focus on enhancing the guest experiences so that people aren't waiting in line to check in, say, into a hotel. It can be an automated
So, like a
process,
kiosk?
like a kiosk
I remember
or
checking into a hotel in Las Vegas and they had
yep,
these little.
a kiosk or an app on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
Those can help. And let's say, and especially in business travel, it might be easier to just check in on an app on your phone and go to your room or check out if you're headed out on that flight.
And I
Better
know
than
some big name hotels that allow that already.
exactly. And that works really well. Um, you can have, as I mentioned, smart rooms where AI integrates the climate control. Or let's say you have a smart television and your family checks in on vacation and you're looking at and it says, "Hello, Indira and your family. We know that you've come from Trinidad and maybe the
I
room is
will be screaming out of my room.
and it will say, "Oh, would you like," they know what maybe your preferences are because they've gathered information about you, and they may have, okay, you like your coffee this way, or you like this music, or they know you're gonna, yesterday you slept in till 10 o'clock, so they might not send housekeeping until 11 o'clock. So they're able to start scheduling housekeeping a little bit different because they're collecting information about your preferences as a guest, and then they can schedule their staff a little bit more efficiently in terms of the operation of the facility.
Would that take extra training of the staff?
In some cases, it would, but with AI, it can also be used in, let's say, human resources. If you have a staff, now of course some small hotels this might not apply, but if you have a sizable staff, if you have new employees, AI can help train your staff. You have a new staff and you have procedures or a handbook or expectations, a new onboarding for a new staff member. AI can be used to train that person. Some of those repetitive tasks. When you bring on a new person, here's the
Yeah.
expectations for any new person coming on board. AI can train them. And any of that training can be, there's new policies, the staff can see AI can help facilitate that type of training. And if, who knows, maybe some facilities, depending on how they set up AI, there can be an app that says, okay, for housekeeping, these are the rooms that are going to be cleaned, and here's the schedule. Here's the schedule of today of our check-ins and our check-outs, and to regiment it that way where they have an app on their phone.
Oh, okay.
Instead of maybe a clipboard or a meeting, they're just going into their app and going, okay, great, I'm going up to the 10th floor to go clean these rooms, and then I have a break, and then I've got to come down because we've got check-ins on the next floor. And so it's really, and the flexibility with AI is that depending on the needs of the property can be customized because it can be adapted to the needs of a business. It doesn't, it can, there's not a, it's really has the ability to morph because it's taking in the information. It is learning as it goes along. So you can customize the AI by the brand. If you have any brand documents and the policies and the operating procedures and everything, you can feed that AI to learn everything about your property. So if the concierge has a question, What do I do when a customer complains? Well, here are the corporate policies. This is how we handle. Oh, okay. Now the concierge knows how we handle the customer complaint.
So let's bring it back to travel advisors.
Yes.
How can travel advisors, and I know you could put in on AI to plan an entire trip, but anybody could do that.
Yes.
But how can travel advisors benefit from this in order to improve their customer experience or even attract new customers to them?
Okay, this is where, in my opinion, this is where knowing how to ask the right questions. All right, if I'm an independent travel consultant, all right, I don't know if you've heard when you're working with, we'll say Gemini or Claude, ChatGPT, you say, when you garbage in, garbage out. So you say, oh, give me a guest itinerary or give me a travel plan. If I'm a consumer, give me a travel plan, and it will just spit out something. I'm going to Bali. All right, it's just going to spit out something. It could be garbage because I just asked a generic question, right? Or you could, so as you define it, it will give you a better and better answer. So
Ask better questions and you get better
ask
answers.
better questions. So as a travel planner, we know more about the industry. So we can anticipate things. Like, let's say we know it's better to arrive in Bali on Tuesday. So Tuesday's at 10. So as a travel planner, I would like give me act as a travel planner, a local travel planner in Bali for arrivals on Tuesday for a couple who are in their 30s on their honeymoon, who are arriving, and you start narrowing down and giving specifics about this couple. And you are walking it through the process. And you start having a dialogue with the AI, and you're putting that AI in a role, and you're giving it a context and giving it very specific instructions. But it's based on the knowledge that's in your knowledge of the profession, and you'll be able to ask more specific questions than the general consumer. It's not to say mean that the consumer can't do a fine job on their own. They might, but there's a lot that can't. And so it comes also from our industry knowledge. We can say, oh yeah, you don't want to fly their airline. And we say, oh yeah, and we want to make sure they fly this airline because we know that airline crashed like a whole bunch of times. I'm saying that only because we've had so many airline crashes lately is what came to mind.
85 for the year.
Yeah. And it's still safer to travel by air than driving in a car. I'm just putting that out there for everybody. So there is still that position for a travel consultant out there. The other thing I will say is that travel consultants also are there when things go wrong. They are an advocate for the consumer when there are problems, questions, if there's emergencies and things. They are a representative of the consumer, of that guest, and an AI can't do that.
So what we're saying is put in your itinerary that you
Yes.
want and let AI customize it for you.
Yes. And you can say,
And-
what am I missing?
Correct.
Yeah.
So what are some of the challenges with this?
Some of the challenges with it is that you're still going to run into things like what they refer to as hallucinations. AI is not always right. You have to proofread. And you have to proofread because AI looks for patterns. It doesn't have empathy or emotions. It can't make those types of judgments, human judgments that we can make. It's looking for patterns and things, and it's great at analyzing data. But it may not have, like ChatGPT. It may not have the information of, 10:30 on this Saturday morning. It might have information from last Saturday morning. So it may not be the most current.
Because it's pulling from the web.
Yeah, it's
So it
pulling from the web.
so it cannot foresee something like we
Yes.
can.
Now, if it's using it like hotel information, as I mentioned earlier, where we're uploading documents, where it's pulling from branding documents, standardized operational documents. If you're using an AI that has been configured to use specific documents where it's not necessarily pulling from the web, then that stuff is going to be accurate because it's configured to be able to pull from standard operating documents for that property. But if it is pulling directly from the web, there can be errors in that. And I mean, I've used it where I say, is this example correct? Is this data correct? This quote or this percentage in this? And they go, oh no, this is just for an example. And I'm like, okay, great. So it can be prone to errors. So you have to proofread these things. There still can be AI algorithms can still perpetuate biases if they are not properly designed, which can lead to ethical issues, racial profiling, and discrimination. So you still have to be vigilant on those types of things. And you definitely still have concerns on data privacy, which I would say if anybody has concerns on data privacy, is anytime you're collecting data, and this would be with guests if you were doing collecting information on your guests to do personalization, is to be very clear with your guests and transparent on why you're getting this information. Oh, it's your anniversary, it's your birthday, it's this. We want to have this information on file so we can customize your record for your stay and explain why you're collecting this
So
information.
how do you envision AI in the next 5 to 10 years within our industry?
Oh, I wish if I had a crystal ball right now to be able to say that, I could be probably one of the
Here it
richest
is. We
women.
have your crystal ball for you.
Oh my gosh, you have a crystal ball. I honestly can say I don't know because this is the thing. AI is moving so fast. I can't say where it will be in 5 years. I don't. I can say with good certainty that in the next 6 to 12 months, 18 months, that there will be AI agents, which for all of us in hospitality and travel will be confused because we're used to travel agents, is that there will be AIs like a marketing assistant, a marketing agent. To alleviate confusion, I'll call them a marketing assistant. And then there will be a guest relations assistant.
I've been seeing people advertising that actually.
Yes.
I have
And
been seeing that.
so what you'll be able to see is that, so let's say there's a guest services agent and even a reservations agent, all AI. And reservations agent is chatting with a human, a customer.
Right. And
And
even
they
they
can,
make your phone calls for you because I have been receiving phone calls and this is not a real person I'm talking to.
yes. And that these two agents can also talk to themselves, within the organization. So you have these different agents, AI agents within one organization. So it speeds up communication within the organization. It does it can reduce some of the needs for human labor in some cases, but the efficiencies to process communication speeds up tremendously. It might not be instantaneous, but it's a lot faster than if George has to go run this piece of paper across or go upstairs and then run it downstairs or send an email or something and wait for an answer, right? So AI agents are definitely going to be a big thing. And I think they're also going to come with faces and personalities, and be very
But I
human-esque.
think that is something you were talking about when we spoke a few days ago.
Yeah.
You could have AI build your own personality and sound like you
Yep.
in an email. Use
Exactly.
the same tone you use the same language you use.
Yep. I think that's going to be coming soon. And I think that those types of things, I think AI agents, that's going to be a bit beyond some of the accessibility for some of the smaller and medium-sized businesses at this point. But right now, for smaller and medium-sized businesses to get involved with these types of things, if they just get onto like ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini and start working with this, because we're at in my opinion, we're at an age when Henry Ford built a car, his first car, people were driving horses and buggies. And he had trouble. People didn't realize they needed a car. They just needed faster horses.
Right.
And and so it's to get people to understand they don't know why they need AI, and it's to get them to build trust in AI and to see that yes, they can use it, and it's worth it. It has value to their business and to their lives. It's just like nobody ever thought we needed Alexa and Siri, right?
That is
Or that we
true.
needed Netflix. Netflix is AI. You turn it on and it says, Indira, here's some movies we suggest for you. Guess what? That's AI.
Our phones are AI.
Exactly.
And
So,
so people are using AI without realizing they're using
exactly.
AI. So I want to go back now and I want you to tell in the because our time is coming to an
Yep.
end. I want you to tell our audience about this lovely free class you have on school on AI and
Ah,
hospitality.
thank you for mentioning that. So, I have an online community which is free to get people to just come and learn, exchange ideas, and network with people. It's laid back, try to be fun, and it is to get people to understand what AI is. We say Netflix is AI, to get a better understanding on what AI is and how it can be used. And it's to give prompts to people like, okay, you want to do it? Let me show you. Here's a prompt of the day. Here's how you can generate a custom itinerary for your guest. Step one, step two, step three. Try it for yourself. And as we go forward into the year, we're going to have master classes if people want to go and like even build a custom GPT for themselves so that they can use it, because you don't need to be a big company to make some of these processes go a little bit faster, so that you can help your guest services and so that you can have some of these experiences and not have to have big investments or have a marketing guru or anything like that. So, if you have show notes and things, Indira, I'm more than happy to share our URL for our class and invite everybody to come. And anybody, please, more than happy to provide a starter list of some things you can try and try AI for yourself. And more than happy to answer any questions or share anything that I can, because I really want to support people who want to be able to give better guest service and really kind of grow their business, because I really just want to help people who want to grow within the industry. I just have such a love for it.
And how can our listeners get in contact with you?
They can get in touch with me. My email address is k@smartpineapple.ai. And if people want to know why smart pineapple, because I've been asked this, is for those who don't know, pineapple is the international icon of hospitality.
It is. So I think you're going to get some emails. And I think that a lot of people want a part two. So I
Anytime.
think we may have to do that.
Oh, yeah. I have lots of notes I didn't even cover yet. I can talk all day.
So thank you, Kay, for joining us.
Thank
And
you for the
guys, you know what to
invitation.
do. If you like the content, click subscribe. There's more coming to you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Kay.
Thank you.